So a few years ago, I covered the Fifine T6X9, and I said it was a fantastic budget microphone that came as a full kit, along with an arm, a pop filter, a suspension mount, and all that kind of stuff. And it was really good for the price. They've since sent me over one of their more recent models. This is the new A6T. It has a very different design. The box alone is significantly different. If you can look at this one, you can see the RGB, you can see the product on it. It's a very pretty looking box, and this is what the old microphone came in. So Fifine is making some very large steps in terms of appearance that is apparent in both the packaging and the product itself. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed, and then we're going to end up getting it all put together. We're going to compare it against my Podmic that we have here. We're going to compare it against the old T6X9, and then we're also going to compare it to my blue Yeti and see how it sounds. So here we've got our box. Again, much more information on here than the old one. You can see that the product is RGB, and it does mention that. Quick plug and play, function keys, easy to use. It's got a shock mount, pop filter, boom arm, a nice long, almost 8.5 foot long cable, a desk clamp. It's got a tap to mute button, volume gain. You know, it's got some nice RGB, so let's go ahead and get this thing open. Got a quick little manual here. And we've got our microphone. Very, very light. Way lighter than the old one. It comes automatically pre-assembled on the shock mount. This is very plasticky, but we'll see how that feels. We get a pop filter here. It's got a nice little smiley face on it. That's cute. Very, very fine, very thin. See how that one works. We've got the clamp for the desk. We've got the USB cable, so it is USB-C, which is awesome. Awesome to see. Take this off, and we get the arm. This is the same, you know, budget mic arm that most things come with. And I mean, it doesn't seem any different from the old mic arm. It's actually the mic arm that I'm using right now for the Podmic. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing quickly assembled together. Before we do that though, you can really compare it to the old microphone in terms of the design and the style. But the thing about the T6X9 is that this is a full metal body compared to this one that is entirely plastic. So whether or not I feel that changes the quality or the way that it picks up sound, we will have to see. This is the volume, the gain knob, I guess, and the tap to mute on the top there. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this one put together. Alright, well, this is what the microphone sounds like just being plugged directly into my computer. Have made no changes, no nothing. This is what it sounds like. So it identifies via the USB as a Fifine microphone, so keep that in mind. It's very easy to identify. The old T6X9 just identified as a generic UPnP microphone, so not as easy to identify it, but you know, still relatively simple. So as we continue this, let's see how easy the tap to mute works. So the tap to mute, very easy to use. We can adjust our gain, get really, really high, or bring that thing down quite a bit, make it a little bit more enjoyable. The nice thing is when you mute it, the light goes off so that you know it's muted, so that's great. Let's take a quick look at the manual here. Alright, so there's not really much else in terms of setup. This is immediately ready to go. If you did want to monitor the microphone, you can do that using the Windows listening to this device, but there is no monitoring built into the microphone. There's no headphone jack or anything like that, like there is with the Blue Yeti. Very different price points, but keep that in mind. So now that we've got that set up, let's go ahead and see what this microphone sounds like compared to the other microphones. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell. nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms or an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms or an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. So let's go ahead and see how the shock mount works. Some shock mounts don't really do much. With something as plasticky as this, I'm not sure how much it's actually going to make a difference, but we'll take a look. So I'm going to go ahead and tap down on the microphone arm. I'll tap on the desk, and we'll see how that sounds. So, it doesn't seem to be the greatest shock mount in the world, but it is a free shock mount that you're getting with the microphone. So, nothing to really complain about other than the fact that it's not really doing too much. So, after listening to those examples of how the microphone sounds, this microphone actually sounds very, very good. It does a great job of not having a lot of background noise. It does a very good job of picking up my voice in a very natural sounding way. It feels very full considering that it is a mono microphone. And I mean, I think it does a really good job for its price point. When you compare it to the older Fifine microphone, the T6X9, it is less expensive. It is a cheaper build quality, you know, it being plastic instead of metal, but I do think it sounds a lot better. It looks nicer. If you do care about the RGB, you have that available. Unfortunately, the RGB is something that you can't turn off and still use the microphone. The RGB is used as a way to tell if it's muted or not, and so there's no real way to keep that turned off. But if you don't mind the RGB and you wanted a really good, inexpensive, full microphone set, including the arm, the microphone, a little pop filter, and everything set up for you, for less than $60, although right now it's actually less than $50, I do think this is a really good option for you. It sounds good. I like how it sounds. I like how easy it is to set up. It didn't take me any time at all. I was able to get it done very quickly. I like how easy it is to mute. That is a super useful tool, especially if you're going to be streaming a lot and you live with other people or what have you. It's a really easy way to mute that microphone. The volume knob on the bottom is nice to have. You know, other than the build quality, I don't think there's really anything that I can complain about this microphone for its price point. Because when you do think about it, this sounds as good, I feel, as the Razer Siren Mini that I have, which is a very good sounding microphone. It's $50. You can get all of this for the exact same price for $50. So if you do want all of this as one thing, this is a really great buy. If you don't care for the RGB, if you want something a little bit smaller, a little bit less flashy, the Razer Siren Mini is a really good option for that. But I mean, this does a really good job for what it is. If you do want to check out this microphone, I will have an affiliate link down in the description below. Go ahead and check it out. Let me know if there are any other microphones at this price point that you'd like me to check out, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at them. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribed. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to leave those down in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to them all as quickly as possible. Big thanks to my patron sponsors, Thought Slime, Step Back, and Rojo Son of Dojo, and thank you for watching the end of this video. If you do want to see any of my other product reviews, go ahead and check out this playlist right here. And as always, stay safe out there. I'll see you next Friday.